I'm just going to take you with me and bring you up to speed, right? Because I'm kind of in flow state. I just got out the ocean, and let me tell you, doing Qigong in the ocean, it just hits different. It really is next level. And I always come to the same conclusion after I get done with a session, and it's that emotions were never designed to be our identity. We were never supposed to create this fixed, or let's say become limited to a localized dimensional aspect or octave of ourself. So this is a version that manifests, or an archetype that manifests when we are holding or becoming the container that holds the energy of anger or fear or resentment or shame, insecurity, these lower dense bandwidths of frequency light, because all reality is in this third dimensional realm of contrast is the slowest oscillation, which is a very slow spin rate. You can think about it like that. That is you as a battery pack and the charge in which you're sustaining, and the timeline of experiences that you draw in through resonance as you harbor onto that frequency, or I'm hearing you become a vessel for that frequency or the container for it. And what the ocean tides remind us is that it doesn't hold on to yesterday's wave, right? It's not focused on what the previous wave was doing, but instead it allows itself to become the container that holds all waves of experience while clinging to none. Attachment becomes the root of all suffering, including when we attach to what was always designed to be a temporal sensation, what was designed to be a temporal experience. Now, what I see many of us returning to is, I keep hearing the word sacred container. And so it's allowing yourself to feel the full bandwidth of frequency light, the full range of human emotion, from the highest oscillation, which is the ultraviolet bandwidths of frequency, which is more of the soul's, I'm hearing playground, arena, essence. This whole system is a training ground for consciousness. But what if love is the only thing that is real? That's something that we always come back to. And that love literally just becomes a state of awareness to remember that the observer within you is greater than the experience that's unfolding before you, even if that is an internal experience when it comes to exploring your own emotional landscape. And that introspection becomes the foundation in which you return to what it is that you've always been, which is free. And neutral observation is so beautiful in that way, and I believe that's what Cancer Season is teaching every single one of us. I'm not sure what the camera is doing right now, but yeah, it's quite something. And so I'm gonna actually read to you what the vessel was that's coming up, because it's actually associated with the Devil card. And if you know anything about that, it literally talks about the carbon-based life form, or the avatar, that is manifested due to the natural laws of its physical environment, right? So this avatar in which you're seated in is the perfect container, the perfect divine instrument, the perfect vessel in order for your timeless consciousness and your eternal essence to temporarily experience the realm of space-time. And I'm seeing every dimension holds its own higher intelligence. And the thing that was coming through when I was doing Qigong in the ocean there is a higher intelligence within you. You are the higher intelligence. And this is something that you innately know. And then some more messages that were coming through the other day was, you can think about it as the human vessel being a container that holds all experience. It's able to hold within it all bandwidths of frequency light, is able to hold within it the full range of human emotion. What was it? Give me a minute. It's a container to hold all human experience. And it's like a cup full of water. You fill the cup full of water or frequency or emotion, and then you empty that cup, and then it may look like an empty cup. It may look like an empty cup, right? Bear in mind. Sorry. My hair's going everywhere. I'm not going to apologize because it's just windy. It's just disrespect is real. Anyway, it looks like an empty cup, but the reality of it is that it still holds within it the potential to feel everything once again. And so freedom lies in your ability to feel all and nothing simultaneously. Can you allow yourself to feel everything when it comes to the full totality of what the third dimension offers us? while simultaneously existing within the void, because that's where I'm hearing infinity lies. And that's why you return back to the eternal perspective. All right, so what I love about this deck and the devil is that it talks about the vessel, and you can literally see it as a container here. So let me see if I can show you that. But then it also shows words, right? Like this forest of expiration. But as you can see, red becomes a major theme here, which I'm seeing even your organism can become paralyzed by fear. And that's why fear is so beautiful to transcend, because you're able to act even in the presence of the fear instead of waiting for the absence to act. This is the moment that you become greater than the mind, you become greater than your emotions, and greater than I'm hearing the illusion of physical experience that exists before you or unfolds before you. Anyway, this talks about complexities, even materialism. The glow of a peculiar vessel draws you in. Like a familiar embrace from a partner, you feel a radiating energy and edge closer towards it. It whistles a seductive song and you become fixated. All you can focus on is the vessel, and it urges you to open it. Ignoring the encryptions on the body, you remove the lid and everything around you goes dark. I'm seeing these are moments of even highs and lows, and your point of neutrality becomes your anchor to not get lost in the sensations, but instead understand the information within that dimension the emotions are asking you to recognize. I'm seeing it as expiration. For example, let's just give you an example. Let's say someone is feeling a level of envy, right? Maybe a low bandwidth of frequency light, and it's happening the moment that they compare themselves to something else within this physical dream. Now, what is the emotion of envy actually informing the human? Well, it's informing the human that there is this thing that you want that you feel like you cannot have or you cannot attain. And the beautiful thing about the beautifully limited avatar that you've incarnated into is that within it, it's adopted through societal engineering. And the further that we weave this down through the ancestral lineage, you understand that this emotion or sensation of, insecurity, shame, envy, whatever it was, didn't stem with you, but instead it talks about, I'm hearing the internal dialogue between you and your ancestral lineage of how exchanges or how emotions have been held within the body through lifetime to lifetime. So this is the wounds of feeling like something is not possible, or feeling like you were limited or fixed in some way. Throughout lifetime to lifetime. Now, you become your own source, and I'm going to go ahead and continue to read the message. You become your own source the moment that you bring awareness to what it is that the vessel needs. So maybe that is, actually, I'm going to take inspiration from this, or I'm going to recognize that there is another being within this interconnected system that's mirroring my own potential back to me. All right, so the most beautiful vessels can sometimes contain the most tragic stories. As humans, we all have problems that we don't show on the surface. We fill ourselves with things that distract us from reality. The vessel is much like a mask, and it hides what is truly underneath. If this card shows up, it's time to rein in your demons. Don't let the materialism, addictions, and obsessions of the world cloud your brilliant light. And I so see this, right? Very strong emotions that we can feel can actually obstruct or distort the way that we see ourselves as light beings in the system. And I'm hearing this is the moment that, when we talk about possessions, right? Like, I'm hearing exercising your demons, or what's it called when someone goes to like a priest and they get an exorcism? Yeah, that is about you becoming possessed by your own emotions, and them unconsciously just leading to you reacting and moving through life in this very, let's just say, primitive way based off of survival instincts, believing that you are separate from the source that you seek. So I'm seeing this is what happens when we separate from our heart space. But the beautiful thing is that you can rechannel this up into the higher channels. And when that happens, you can experience these temporal sensations through space-time, but recognizing them as you being more than them, okay? You being the eternal being that is the experiencer, but also the observer of the one experiencing. So we begin to recognize that the devil is just a lower octave or lower expression or lower archetype, but that's very it's an isolated aspect of ourselves. It's a very localized aspect of ourselves, but it's not our whole being. And so we ask, what does that dimension within us ask? What does it require? And often that is just to be seen, it's to be acknowledged, it's to be held, you know, it's to be recognized. So yeah, can you I'm hearing breathe life into that contraction. It also says, don't let the materialism, addictions, and obsessions of the world cloud your brilliant light. It can be all too easy to get wrapped up in the success that you start to lose touch with your own soul. Even when the terrible is swallowing you whole, there is still a light found in others. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. So this could be help from, you know, the higher expression of yourself, how to kind of hold space for yourself as well. And that's because the vessel, when we talk about attachment, it's beautiful because it kind of reframes our relationship to these emotions themselves. And it's through the vessel, or at least through you, being able to allow these sensations to move through you fluidly once again and become detached from them and just observe them neutrally, that your power lies. In many ways, it could be us holding on or attaching to experiences, people, you know, outcomes, the way that we think things should have gone, that end up becoming the root of suffering, right? It is that attachment. So the message I have for you for Cancer season, or the question, which you can write in the comment section down below, I'd love to see what your answer is that Cancer season is ultimately asking us to release some type of emotion or vibration that we've been, let's say, hosting within our being that may feel familiar, but no longer serves our highest purpose, right? And in that process, emptying our vessel from that notion, emptying our vessel from that sensation isn't us losing ourselves, but instead we return to our true self in that process. We recognize what has always existed beneath the surface. I'm hearing beyond that moment, and a moment that just continues to linger. I'm hearing a moment that we continue to harbor onto. So allow yourself to be like the wave, going through that refinement process, that recession process, in order for something new to emerge. And I'm hearing that's often by choice. Sometimes we have to get to a point where we choose no longer to feel that way. So with that being said, that is the message I have for Cancer season right now. And I hope that you are having a beautiful one. If you aren't already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing, because we'd love to have you around. You're part of the soul family anyway, so yeah, definitely embark with us on this journey if you feel so called. And what else? I guess that's it. Yeah. So until next time, bye.